Hi everyone, it's a pleasure. My name is Laura Hernandez, and today I was supposed to be the one to give you the talk of the day, but unfortunately I have a little bit mismatch with the schedules. But I really appreciate to the team uh, to organize these talks, to give me the opportunity to record my presentation and talk you about research that I conducted. It was conducted by me. This this research, I work with sea turtles, hatchling sea turtles, in specific with James Riddle. What I want to talk about is some of the most common actions to protect this species. And it's as well as it was very interesting research because uh, I can say I consider that this this all of this research to show me that not all the time science works the way you want to work. I mean, I learned a lot of, and not just with the data, with scientific, in a scientific way. I learned a lot about frustration that is very common in the science field. And I will show you why it's very important as well to understand that not all the time you're going to get the results you want. So my talk the title of this talk is Artificial Nest of Straddle Sea Turtles, Lepidopterus scampi, do not affect the hatchling's morphometry or behavioral performance. To start, we have to consider that one of the most important behavior to enhance the biological fitness of every species and to increase the offspring survival. That is the main purpose of every individual is survive. Well, uh, one of the behaviors that helps that or helps increase these factors is the parental care. That parental care we can understand that as a behavior that regard as an investment of energy and time that parents give to the offspring, giving them protection for what? From weather, from predators, giving the best sites to, for example, the best nest, the best place to protect them, the eggs, or even the individuals. No, in the case of the mammals, but it's a very common behavior in some fish, in birds, in mammals. But there are a group that sometimes the researchers like have this discussion that this this species or this group, they don't have parental care, and this group is the reptiles. Although what happened with parental care in reptiles, we have even seen some memes in Facebook where they show that parental care is not a very common or is rarely shows in reptiles, and it is. It is a very it is an uncommon behavior in reptiles. It occurs sometimes in some species, for example, in ball pythons, where the female during the incubation period protect the eggs with the body until they hatch of of the individuals. Or another example is the crocodiles, where they keep like near the hatchlings during a short time after like leave them to like be free, and well, the female keeps going with their lives. But what how can we consider that parental care is in reptiles? Where another factor is that the moment that the females uh, make this selection nest site is a form of parental care. Why? Because the females have to consider so many factors at the moment to do this nest site selection, because it's a not random selection, and that is influenced by many environmental factors that is going to help or have these factors is going to have a direct effect or influence in the growth and development of the offspring during incubation and after hatching. Okay, that's why this moment is considered as a form of parental care. In specific, in this case, when we are talking about uh, sea turtles, sea turtles, there are some as well, some characteristic of factors that are going to influence this selection of the nest site. Some of these characteristics depends of the environmental and physical characteristic direct of or to each speech. Okay, what characteristic or physical or environmental physical characteristic are? One, we have the sun temperature and moisturize. That's very important. Beach is low, because how far as well from the tide is going to be the nest from the tide line, and the sun grain size as well is very important, and vegetation abundance, because some of these characteristic of factors are going to have a direct influence in the nest during the incubation time. Well, as well, we have another factors that are has an influence as the temperature or the moisturize direct to the nest during this incubation period. One is the oxygen that influence the offspring hatching, the growth rate. See how if they have like a short period of incubation or a large period of incubation, and the embryonic mortality as well. Another environmental factor or during the incubation is the moisturize. Moisturize inside the nest is very important, because why? Well, it's because it has an influence in the nest temperature as a regulator. It's going to be a structural component of the nest, because it's going to maintain the structure during all the incubation period, and as well as going to have an effect in the embryonic mortality, because the increase or the decrease of this factor is going to affect directly with it's going to affect the embryonic. Okay, and the last And the most important, I consider the most important environmental factor that has an indirect influence in the incubation and on the embryonic and in the eggs is the temperature. The temperature is a factor that is going to have an effect on the sex determination. Why? Because the reptiles depends direct of the temperature to like balance the number of females and males that's going to like develop during the incubation time. Uh, we know that is known that in reptiles when the temperature is higher, it's more common to have a large number of females. But when we have a lower temperature of during this incubation time inside the nest, it's more common to have a larger number of males. So this is very common in reptiles. In the case of sea turtles, this temperature, the range of this temperature to the sex determination, it goes to 29 degrees Celsius to 30 degrees Celsius. So another in another the temperature as well has an influence in the hatchling size and locomotor performance. As well in the hatching success and the incubation period. During this incubation period as well, we're going to have a tolerance range. That means that this range is going to affect if the embryo survives or not. Okay. For most of the sea turtles, we know that is between 25 degrees to 35 degrees. Okay, it's going to depend from the species. That's very important. Okay, so in Mexico, we are lucky to have 6 of the 7 sea turtle species in all the coastal area. We are very lucky, and we have keybeetles, green turtles, loggerheads, hawksbill, olive beetles, leatherbacks. So it's important. This species has a big influence in the to maintain an ecosystem. Okay, to maintain those species that can influence and can have a negative influence in an environment. But it's important to know that all these species are protected by law, by a federal law. Here in Mexico, we have a Mexican official norm that enlists all the species that are protected. That I don't know if the people catch you with individual of any species of sea turtle or the eggs. They can charge you with as a federal crime. So this species are really protected here in Mexico. And one of these species was the main species for this research. This was the Kemp's riddle, the Pilochelis kempi. And well, I want to explain some things about this species. First, is the smallest species of sea turtle. This is like the Caparas is like 245 centimeters. Like it's really comparing to a green turtle, to a loggerhead turtle, or a leatherback turtle, is the smallest one of these 6 that arrives here in the Mexican coastal area. The second characteristic, and the most important and the most interesting, is that has diurnal nesting like cycle. It means that it's the only turtle, is the only sea turtle that nests during the day, and it nests in a specific events called arribadas. Arribadas means that a large number of females arrives at the same time to a specific area to nest. So I'm going to show you a video in a few minutes for you to see. It's impressive. It's the same behavior that has with the olive riddle, like the cousin of this species, but the olive riddle that is a Lepidopteris olivaceae distributes in the Pacific Ocean, the Pacific area here in Mexico. Well, in this case, the Cape Brittle turtle, the distribution of this turtle is in the Gulf of Mexico, that goes to the south of Texas in the United States of America to the center of the state of Veracruz here in Mexico. Veracruz is the largest state that is next to the Gulf of Mexico. But as well, even that the distribution of this species, it's from Texas, is in Rancho Nuevo, Tamaulipas, here in Mexico, where is the main nesting area, where is the large number of females arrive every season. Okay, but unfortunately, as all the species of sea turtles here in Mexico are critical in, well, not only in Mexico, but around the world, most of the sea turtle species are considered as a critical or a species endangered. Here in Mexico, in this official norm, is classified as a critical endangered species. So that's why when we want to work with any species of the sea turtles, we have to ask permission to the federal government. It's very important. I did it. So if you want to work with them, you have to do it as well. Well, for example, this is it's not possible to watch the video, but let me show you. Well, it wasn't possible to watch the video. It's a video where you can like see the moment where all the sea turtles arrived. But as I told you, one of the well, this all the sea turtles are in danger, and in this in specific, it has the most critical classification in the Mexican norm. So more or less since the 80s or even before, the people, the government, and the people from some locals, the people that lives near to the beaches where the sea turtles arrive, start some actions to protect or the population of sea turtles. And one of these actions is the recollocation of the nest. Is the most common practice in Mexico and around the world as well. And well, it has been reported is an action with the higher hatching success rates. That it means they are doing a good work relocating nest. But in some cases, as well, they have reported that this practice there are some arguments that suggest that this practice is maybe causing morphological and locomotion alterations in the hatchlings. So here in Mexico, aside that this norm that enlists the endangered species that are native or important for the ecosystem of the country, we have as well a specific Mexican official norm that regulate this practice. Okay, this norm is mandatory to every sea turtle center or camp that is dedicated to to develop this practice to protect the population of the sea turtles. Nonetheless, we don't have even having 6 of the 7 sea turtles of the world have a large coastal line in the country. We don't have, or at least here in the Gulf, we didn't have any records if the effects or if this practice of relocation the nest has an effect on the phenotype and the performance of the Cape's brittle turtle, sea turtle hatchlings. So in this case, I for this research decided to formulate a question. And what was okay? Yeah. What was this question? Was how does artificial incubation of brittle turtle eggs affect the development and behavioral performance of hatchlings compared to natural incubation? So, in resume, what we did, compare nest from in situ or natural nest and artificial nest. But we have to consider a specific, or we have to measure in specific variables. It's our job, right? So what were those variables? Number one, the temperature. Remember that is one of the most important environmental factors that have effect to the incubation period and to the hatchlings. The second variable is the incubation time, the hatching success, the morphometric variables, and the locomotion performance. These variables, we compare them between in situ nest, that is for the example that we have in the right side, and the same variables were measured in the artificial nest, or where the nests were relocated. So where we conduct where I did conduct this research was in a camp, in a center that belongs to, or not belongs, is managed by the local government, the estatal government here in the state of Veracruz, el Centro Veracruzano de Investigación y Conservación de la Tortuga Marina. This center is located in a town named Nautla, but the nest area that this center covers, and as it's like in vigilance of this area, it's about 15.5 kilometers. So it's a lot. And well, for this we have to choose, we choose 2 areas where they relocate the nest. One of these areas was near to the center, and the other one was in a little location named El Laurel. So the news in situ, we only have 3, and these were exactly they were. And if you ask me why only three, because we're the only three sea turtle of this season that for me was possible to track, even since the females arrived to the beach and start to dig to collocate the eggs. And well, that's why, because this area of the where is located the center is in the center is about like in the center of the state, but is like in the southern part or in the southern area where the sea turtle, the king brindle turtles, arrives to nest during the season. So there's not a lot sea turtles in this area comparing uh, to the Rancho Nuevo, where is the main nesting site. And well, how I did it, how I like develop everything, how I did the measures. You can see me here in this video. First, well, the nesting season where I conduct where I test and I take all the data, where the season was the season and the 2022 season. And I could work with a 13 nest. 10 nests were relocated, and only 3 in situ nests or 3 natural nests. These in situ nests were located in the zone B of the beach. This zone is between the high tide line and where the dune area begins, okay, in the beach. So this is important because this is a zone where the species usually dig the nest or choose the site of the nest. So it's important because the characteristic or the factors that have an effect to the nest or on the incubation periods depends of the zone of the beach, because no is the same, no is not the same temperature that in the zone B or in the dune areas. Okay, so, and what is related with the nest or the artificial nest is that the corals where all the nests were relocated, both of them were covered with shade mesh. This shade mesh would first to reduce the predators or the birds pressure, and second to have them to reduce the temperature, okay, to control the temperature as well. And well, we count the days, and between day 40 and day 45 we or I locate or I placed a coral, like you can see in the video, a coral to retain the hatchlings, no, because I have to take some measures. Well, the data collection about temperature incubation period and hatching success. To take the temperature in every nest. In the 13 nest, I placed or I put inside of the nest, in the middle of the nest, a data logger. This data logger was covered exactly between all the nests, because I want to know what was happening between inside of the nest, not only in the upper side or the lower side of the nest, no, in the middle of the nest. And well, this data logger was taking the temperature every hour during all the incubation period, throughout the incubation period. Okay. The incubation period, well, I only measured the days. I count the days since I put the data logger to until I see the hatchlings. And for the hatching success, I consider some variables from this for this point. Number one, for the number of the followings that I record was clutch eggs, live hatchlings, dead hatchling, eggs with embryonic develop, and eggs without embryonic develop. Okay, so those were the factors that I considered to well, to get the hatching success. For the morphometry, well, what measures did I consider? First, it's important to mention that all the measures were taken the same day that the hatchlings emerged. And why is important to consider this? Because the hatchlings, at the moment that they emerge from the inside of the nest, they have this frenesy period or frenesy time where they have enough energy to travel from the nest to the water and then begin this journey to the feed areas. Okay, it's very important. So I couldn't maintain a lot of time the hatchling because I don't want to reduce the energy of every individual. The morphometry of was taken or was measured from 14 to 25 hatchlings per nest per nido, and the standard measures were the straight right coverage, the late of plastron, and the late of frontal flipper. Okay, aquí is straight coverage left, the plastron left, and the frontal flipper left. So those were the standards measured, and as well I take the body mass of every individual. I just use a scale to get that the body mass of every hatchling. And what was next? Well, the locomotion performance. For this, to get this data, I will have three locomotion tests. The first one was the locomotion speed, and this test, well, I considered I had track in the sand of the beach. I put a track where in the beginning, yes, in the start of this track, I put every individual and take the time that this individual took to take or arrive to the other side of the track. It's important that when you are conducting this kind of research, you have to record okay, because you don't have like the time to, you can spend a lot of time doing in that moment, like see how many minutes. So because you don't want to like this, the hatching spend a lot of energy, so you record. That's why I have here my camera. The length of the track was 2 meters, and the width was between the walls of the track is 29 centimeters. Every hatchling was chose randomly, and in this case, I took 77 hatchling from the artificial incubation, and from the in situ incubation were 23 hatchlings. For the next test, or locomotion test, was the writing reflex. This writing reflex is going to show us if this individual, if the hatchling has the capacity to resolve any problem. Okay, in this case, for them to stay in the right position, it's a problem because, for example, at the moment that the hatchlings emerge from the nest, they're going to face a lot of obstacles like trees or even shields or garbage, unfortunately, and that's this reflex is going to help them to face these obstacles. So what did I do? I put every individual over the coverage, okay, and took the time how long it takes them to turn around and to stay in a straight position, if you can say straight, with the pattern over the sound, over the sand. So I took the time, and as well, every individual will choose randomly. No? So this is like how I did it. And the last locomotor performance was a swimming speed test. So in this case, I have to say that for every test was a different individual, okay? I didn't repeat, or it wasn't the same hatchling for the three tests. No. It was each test has different individuals. So, well, for this swimming speed, I use a swimming pool. That lake of the swimming pool was 3 meters with a width of 2.9 meters. So I delimitate the area. Yeah, okay. From the large, it was like 3 meters, and the wide was 2 meters only. So I locate, or I put the individual in one side of this testing area, and let them swim during 2 minutes, only 2 minutes, and see if they can arrive to the other side of the testing. Oh, no, of the testing area. So what happened? What we have as a result? I'm sorry if this changed like a lot. I can go back to the last slide. Sorry. So what happened? What were the results? The first, about the incubation periods, you can see I didn't have any statistical difference. These days were the same, 47.3, the mean of the incubation period for both nestings, or for both types of nesting. Okay, so no statistical differences. About the hatching success, we don't have as well any statistical success, what we found is that the artificial nest has the higher percentage in the hatching success. No, this is it's a good result to know that the efforts are working. Okay, so nice, but well, we don't have any statistical differences. And what about temperature? When we consider temperature, we decide to divide like mean temperature, minimum temperature, and maximum temperature. But in this case of minimum temperature, we didn't have any statistical difference. Where we have it in temperatura promedio or mean temperature. That this means that the test shows that the nest from in situ or natural nest shows a higher temperature comparing to the artificial temperature. And it's the same case that we have with the maximum temperatures. In situ nest shows the higher temperature during the season comparing with the artificial nest. So why can happen this? We consider that this happened because the nest from that were in the corals that were relocated, well, they had less direct exposure to the sun because remember that they have this shade mesh that used to reduce the exposure to the sun, and as well the area where is this where are the relocated nests are what were near to the a line of tree that helps as well to reduce the indirect exposure to the sun. So there are factors that sometimes they don't consider that may help to reduce temperatures. This person that manage or that are in charge of the centers, sometimes they don't see that the place where you are locating the corals or the relocated nest, it's important. Okay, that's going to have an effect on the temperature. Another reason is that remember that this zone of the beach where the in situ nests were located was the site where the female decide to nest, okay, to put the nest. So in this area of the beach, we won't find any vegetation, any vegetation. So the absence of the vegetation in the in situ nest area, it's considered a factor that increase the temperature of the nest. About the morphometry, remember that we have 4 variables: straight caparage length, plastron length, body mass, and front flipper length. About the straight caparage length and the plastron length, we didn't find any statistical differences. Okay, we didn't find, but we find these differences in body mass. Finding that the hatchlings from the in situ nest have were bigger than the artificial nest hatchlings. And why can this happen? Because sometimes or why? Because the period, the time of the incubation times, it's going to affect in how much how much proteins from the egg is going to absorb, okay? Or yes, carbs are going to absorb inside. So all this energy of the egg, they going to like transform it in body mass sometimes. And well, how is going to help to behavior or to have a higher body mass? Well, it's going to help the hatchlings to reduce the predation pressure, okay? And well, it's going to help them as well in many cases to like high strength to defend from predators. In the case of front flipper legs, well, we find we have some statistical differences, and as well is was in the in situ hatchlings or the hatching from the in situ nest. In this case, we consider that having from flippers, bigger flippers, is going to help them to have a better displacement speed, be faster, reduce the predation pressure. Okay, so it's very important. Consider that this factor is going to help them to arrive to the water and obviously swim faster or spend less energy in the case of having a bigger flipper, less energy because of this going to break the water easier. The friction of the water is easier having bigger flippers. And about the result of locomotor performance in any test, in any 4 of them, any test, well, 3 of them, we didn't find any statistical difference. And in the case of the locomotion speed test, we as well count the number of pauses during the locomotion. But we didn't find anyway any statistical difference. So what does this mean? What does this mean that having or doing all of these tests, measure all of the variables, measure even some morphological structures or having of morphological information, most of them didn't show any statistical difference. What's happened? It has value, this research, of course it has. It has more value than what can you think. Why? Because yes, we don't have any difference in the minimum temperature, incubation period, hatching success, strike average length, plastron length, performance. We don't have any. And yes, well, we have like we know now the mean temperature, maximum temperature, body mass in front flipper length or like lower than in the in situ hatchlings. But what does this mean again? Why is important this? Well, it's important because we show that all the work that is doing this, the person of this center, this research centers, sorry, is worth it. Well, here I wrote Laura because it's the common name that we give to this species here in Mexico, Tortuga Lora. Okay, well, I want to share with you this information as well. So how or what we can conclude from this work, even we don't have a lot of statistical differences in our variables. First one is temperature differences did not represent a factor affecting the morphology and locomotion of the hatchling. It means that this practice of relocate the nest from the site where the female choose or select to a place that is used by a human does not affect morphology and locomotion. Second, artificial incubation in the northern Mexico, where was conducted this research, maintained incubation times and hatching success similar of the natural nest. We are duplicating, following all of the Mexican official norms, following all the information that is in this legal instrument. We can duplicate, okay, the characteristic of the natural nest, and it's helping. And the last is hatchling with appropriate morphometry exhibit better locomotions. Well, exhibit no problem with locomotion and a problem solving abilities. That is going to help to increase the potential of survival. And this is very important because with this information, we can work or we can conduct more research in this with this species, because remember, as I told you, this is the last studied species of sea turtles in Mexico. And what we can consider, number one, that it's important to generate and obtain information to increase knowledge of biological processes. That's going to help all the centers and camps, okay, to maintain a certain way to relocate the nest, or why it's important to follow these official norms that explain how you have to do the nest, the wide, the deep of the nest, the structural, why you have to maintain those characteristics, because has an influence into the incubation period and in the hatchlings. Next is a periodic data collection of nesting sites include additional variables. Remember, I only consider as environmental factor the temperature, but as well it's important to consider another ones like the female health status, the moisturize, and the oxygen levels. Okay, this is very important as well. The next is the establishment of safe incubation areas where natural nests cannot be possible because of erosion of the beach, like it happens in this site, in the area where I conduct this research. It's pretty common, the erosion of the beach. Next, the anthropical activities that are developed are in the same area where the females arrive to nest. Sometimes the fishing or the agropecuarial activities affect the season or the nesting season for the females. And the last is the distribution of the information to turtle centers and camps. As researchers nowadays, our job as well include to inform the people why are we working or why are we developing our research? Because we want to help them, and we have to, obviously the first is we want to help the environment, protect the environment, and then we want to help them as well to develop the activities, but in a sustainable way. So that's what is very important, that we work with locals. And in this case, I want to, acknowledge all my team that helps me during the season to gather the data. They show me to identify a nest, how to manage the nest, the eggs as well. They show me how to work with sea turtles, and I really want to take my time to invite of the students or public in general to visit this camp, because they do every season an excellent and amazing work. The people from Centro Veracruzano de Investigación y Conservación de Tortuga Marina works every season so hard to maintain or for the conservation of the sea turtles as well. Well, in this area, not only arrives key brittle sea turtles, arrives green turtle as well, and we have a report of leatherback, or one female of leatherback. Unfortunately, the eggs that this female left in his nest are not fertilized. So obviously, it's not the natural distribution area. We don't know how this female arrived to the Gulf of Mexico, but well, this is another topic to study, another thing to study. So I invite you to visit. If you want to be a volunteer, you can contact the person in charge of the center. Every season they are opening this opening the opportunity to the volunteers to register and help them during all the year, or all the season that goes to March to November every year. So this is all. Thank you very much again. I hope that you enjoyed this talk. And well, if you have any questions, with all of my heart, I will appreciate it. And you can send them or you can write it. I think that they're going to share this video on YouTube, and you can let your questions, and I'm pretty sure the team is going to share all these doubts and comments, and they will let me know if any information that you need. Okay, you can ask to the team. Thank you very much. I hope really you like it, enjoyed it. See you. Bye.